Okay, welcome to another voice recording. Alright, before I start, um, I remember I got a message from Winston Wu, the founder of Happier Abroad. He sent me a message, I think on Facebook or on this YouTube channel, on one of the videos on this channel. And he left a message and said this: "What happened to your channel?" I didn't know what he meant by that, but what happened to my channel? I guess he's been watching my videos and saw that I'm going away from his messages of the happier abroad philosophy. I still believe in the happier abroad philosophy, and I do. You know, I just want to do something different. So I haven't been viewing Winston Wu's videos on his YouTube channel. I think I still sub to him, and I do. So if he's watching, I want to hear from him. On why he he asked the question, "What happened to your channel?" So if he's watching, I just want him to tell me what he meant by that, or just hit me up on Facebook. Well, okay, enough of that. In this video, I want to talk about Canada. That's right, Canada. That country that's just north of the US, America's northern neighbor. I went to that country in 2013 on a cruise to Alaska and Canada. How I wound up in Canada? It was like this. Got on a cruise ship in Seattle, Washington. Sailed from there to Juneau and Skagway in Alaska. Then went up north to past Canada to Alaska, Juneau and Skagway, which is, well, Alaska is the U.S. anyway. So after that, went south to Victoria on Vancouver Island, which is the provincial capital of British Columbia. Went to Victoria. I was just blown away just how gorgeous Victoria is. It's a very nice city, a very beautiful city. Um, Rode some buses around the city, went to souvenir shops, um, met some wonderful people there. I went there with my mom, my dad, and my sister. Um, I did something very disrespectful there. We all did something disrespectful there. We laughed at a woman and her friend in a horse-drawn carriage. Kind of laughed at that like it was funny, but I look back on that. That wasn't a really good thing to do. I was insulting the culture there. So saw the Espresso Hotel, the harbor where the ships were at. Went by the BC Parliament buildings, very big, very nice, and saw the statue of Queen Victoria, which the city Victoria got its name from. So yeah, But Canada. You know, I'm gonna talk about this. Canada. Um, this country. Um, will I be happy living in that country? Absolutely not. I'm probably gonna be miserable there because Canada just it shares the same culture and with the U.S. because Canadian culture and American culture. I'm gonna say Canada and the U.S. they have so much in common. People in both countries they drive the same cars. Um, they listen to the same music. Um, you know, watch the same movies, same TV shows. So there's a lot of Americans who are ignorant of the country, thinking that Canadians live in igloos and they ride dog sleds. They don't have highways, they don't have cars. Um, you know, it's just complete ignorance from some Americans about Canada. But I've been to the country. They have roads there. Um, they have roads. They live in houses. Apartments are flats. You know, so yeah. So so okay. What can I say about this country? Will I be happy there? Not really because the people, some of the people, not all of them, they're very passive aggressive, ice cold, antisocial. Um, some of the some of the Canadians they don't want to be bothered. If you go and talk to them, they don't want to be bothered. And Americans, some Americans think that Canadians are nice. Well, they're nice because they have a government in their country that cares about them. But say, but saying that all Canadians are nice is like saying that people in Japan all know karate. That's not the case really. Not all people in Canada are nice. Not all Canadians are warm, friendly, polite people. And they're not. Some of them are, some of them aren't. There's some mean Canadians there. I watch a segment on the this show called what's this show called? The Fifth Estate. I don't remember what the name of this show is. It's on the CBC. I watched it on YouTube, and there was this guy. I think I said this in a previous video that I did about Canada. There was this guy that said something racist to this woman who was doing an experiment on racism in Canada, and she pretended to be Muslim. And this was in Toronto, and this guy, some guy walked up and said this to this woman. It was just asking for this woman who was asking for donations. She was doing an experiment, seeing how racist the country is. Okay, some random guy on the street. Okay, he comes up and says this. Do you think I'm gonna give you money so you can blow me up? You think I'm gonna give you money? Not a fucking chance. I think before this, Some people gave money and others just walked by and just ignored the woman. And when this guy was, and some another racist guy was giving this woman crap because she was Muslim. She was doing an experiment to see how racist Canada is. This was shocking. A lot of people just walked by and just ignored this poor woman. But luckily, like two people, a man and a woman, comes up. And the woman stopped this man from berating the woman who was Muslim and said this, stop it. If you don't stop this, I'm gonna call the police. So, there's good and bad in Canada, just like in other countries. And this is messed up. You know, a street preacher in Toronto was doing his street preaching, and some woman with bright red hair, and she wore eyeglasses. Her name is Shanty Biggs, and she just berated this preacher who was black, and she said this: we don't we're not gonna appreciate you doing what you're doing. We don't I don't You don't need to go around and spread your Jesus shit. And I think this preacher was at this gay pride parade in Toronto, and Shanty Biggs was giving this black preacher crap, and the black preacher was pretty cool about it. It didn't bother him. You know, I'm against people who are religious, who go around and force their religious beliefs on people. But the guy who's religious, he has the right to say what he wants to say. And Shanty Biggs and people like her in Toronto try to shut this guy down. And I think at the end, I think this was on a YouTube video, and at the end, some gay guy, some transgender person, went and spit on the preacher. That's disgusting right there. I'm gonna say this. I'm, you know, what the preacher did. He was forcing his religious beliefs on people. That's wrong. But he has the right to say what he want to say. And people like Shanty Biggs, and gay pride parade people don't have the right to shut this guy up and spit on him. That's just wrong. And another thing I saw in Canada on YouTube, a girl at a college somewhere in Toronto, Toronto. I'm gonna say Toronto. Um, this is messed up. It was a guy who was wearing a red Trump hat that says "Make America Great Again," and 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 this is wrong. This girl told this guy that he has to take the hat off because the hat is bad and it represents Trump. And she trying to force this guy to take the hat off, and like she can't do that. That's not right. Like, I don't like Trump and I don't care for Trump, but I'm not gonna make someone who likes Trump, who wears a Trump hat. I'm not gonna make that person take that hat off because that's not right. You know, and this girl kept harassing this poor guy and his friend because this guy wore a Trump hat, and him and his friend got fed up and said, "This is ridiculous. Let's get out of here." Yeah, yeah, and in Canada, had did this thing where people in the country, liberal left people, um, wanted to keep Roosh V out of Canada, and Roosh V went to Canada, and the people in Canada gave Roosh V crap. Um, a French Canadian woman poured beer all over Roosh V, and her and her and these men and these women were taunting him, and Roosh V had a bodyguard. I don't like Roosh V. He's crap. He's garbage. Um, they followed him around some city, I think in Montreal or Montreal in French. My French isn't that great. They followed him. They followed this guy around, gave him crap, and told him to get the fuck out. And Roosh V got to this hotel. He had a bodyguard with him. He got to the hotel, and one of the girls said, "Eat my cunt, fuck you," and all this crap. It was brutal, and it was. So what else about Canada? Yeah. Now, there's some things I like about Canada. There's some things I don't like about it. You know. Okay, yeah. But I'm not. I don't hate the country. I got people who left comments on videos that I did about Canada. They're on this channel, and they tell me, the airports are crumbling, and you're gonna get universal health care, but you're gonna be paying out of the ass for taxes and all this crap. Yeah, this is what I think about universal health care. Yeah, it's free to the point of service and it's paid for through taxes. Yeah, it's free because you don't have to pay a lot. You don't have to pay out of pocket like you do here in the U.S. for health services. But you're gonna pay for it through your taxes. And yes, the taxes are high. Yes, everything's expensive. Yeah, because of that. Well, if you don't raise taxes on that health care, it's not gonna function. And furthermore, yeah, speaking of healthcare, in Canada, um, s- some parts of the healthcare in that country, in a province called Saskatchewan, the healthcare is kind of privatized. And I just um heard from the premier of Ontario, Doug Ford. Doug Ford wants to implement a an American style healthcare system in the Ontario province. You got all these conservative premiers from other provinces who agree with Doug Ford and want to implement an American style healthcare system. And you got Doug Ford saying that the status quo isn't working. I heard that Canada has wait time issues. The wait times are pretty bad. I think in British Columbia, the wait times are pretty bad. Well, some God, wow. Trying to think here. Yeah, the healthcare. Well, I'm gonna say that the healthcare isn't fully universal. Yeah, the wait times are bad because the healthcare isn't funded. It isn't funded because the liberal government isn't interested isn't interested in funding the system. Um, there's some missing pieces to the healthcare, like dental, vision, hearing aids, mental health, pharmacare isn't included into the system. So those things are left out on the system, and then you got then you got the wait time problems. Then you got lack of doctors and nurses. And you got doctors and nurses aren't being paid enough, and in some parts of Canada, the nurses and the doctors are going on strike. Yeah, I've been watching what's going on in Canada on YouTube, on places like CTV, Global News, and the CBC, or the CBC, the National. So um, yeah, I've been watching what's going on up there in Canada. Yeah, I got people sending comments to me on YouTube telling me, "Oh, you don't know what's going on in Canada," and they tell me what's going on in Canada, and they're basically telling me something that I already know. You got Canadians telling me what's going on in the country, and they're basically telling me something I already know. And it's ridiculous, you know. They're just a bunch of bots, you know. If I respond to them, they'll never respond back to me. So I'm just going to ignore those people. So, what can I say about Canada's universal healthcare system? Well, it needs to be funded. You need to put in dental, vision, hearing aids, mental health, pharmacare. You need to add that into the system. Um, Raise the pay for doctors and nurses. Bring in more doctors and nurses. Bring in more nurses and doctors. Um, um, Improve the wait time issue. Speaking of that, I heard about an elderly couple. Well, a man, an old man, who's trying to get health services, and his wife is helping them, and there was no luck for them. Doctors didn't want to see the husband, so it's pretty difficult. But yeah. So, well, also, the also want to talk about the Freedom Convoy. Back in the winter of 2022 this year. Wow. Yeah, the Freedom Convoy was kind of ridiculous. It was kind of silly. It was, it was just. It started out as some truckers who, some of them were vaccinated, some of them weren't vaccinated due to COVID-19. The ones who aren't vaccinated, I think, um, complain about they don't like the rules. Like going to the U.S. to deliver their freight and coming back to Canada, they had to self quarantine. A lot of them said they didn't like that. It didn't make any sense, and it went from that to like this convoy of not just truckers, just a bunch of like right wing, alt right like people who are racist and full of hate, something like that. Um, Right wing conservative, bunch of people, and just a tiny fraction of people, bunch of people in pickup trucks and cars. They all went to Ottawa, and they crippled Ottawa, and they paralyzed the city by blocking roadways in the city. Honking their horns. Truckers are revving up their engines in semis, and people revving up their engines and cars and pickup trucks and honking horns. And some of them were doing this, tried to make Justin Trudeau the Prime Minister of Canada, and the leader of the Liberals to step down as Prime Minister, and saying that Justin Trudeau and Jagmeet Singh are together in this scheme of forcing vaccines on Canadians or something like that. And they're screaming about freedom. We don't have no freedom. Freedom, freedom, freedom. And you guys got freedom. You guys got the freedom to do the crazy stuff that you're doing. And also on Parliament Hill doing the paralyzing of Ottawa. Um, People around Parliament Hill like having barbecue grills, cooking hot dogs and hamburgers and playing music and having jungle gyms for children to play in and you know inflated castles for children to play in, kids playing hockey in the streets. It was just basically a circus. And someone said that, oh, we as Canadians, we're like standing up, becoming a real country, and all of this. Yeah, and also someone defaced a statue of Terry Fox, the runner who lost his leg during from a disease. He had a fake artificial leg, and he ran across Canada, and he had a fake prosthetic leg, and people were defacing the statue of Terry Fox, and defacing a war memorial around Parliament Hill. And I saw that, and a lot of MPs in Parliament Hill. I think I think the liberal PMs, not the conservative PMs, I think were complaining about what the freedom people of the Freedom Convoy were doing. One MP saying that we gotta we're here to do the work for the people. We got people just disrupting everything in Ottawa. This needs to stop. I think Justin Trudeau was talking about it. Yeah. So yeah, what do I think about Canada? Canada, British Columbia, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Ontario, Quebec, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island, Newfoundland and Labrador, Yukon, Northwest Territories, and Nunavut. What do I think about this entire country? As what I said in this, I think it's not a country that I should move to and live there. Because I live there, I'm going to be miserable there because just how some of the people are there. Some of the people are ice cold and antisocial and passive aggressive. You know, it doesn't matter what part of Canada that I live in. I'm going to be miserable. I'm going to be lonely, like I am here in the U.S. Because Canada shares the same thing that the USA has. You know, you know, ice cold, antisocial people who want to be left alone in their own bubbles. They don't want to talk to anybody. They just want to be left alone. And there's someone from Canada who told me, "Oh, I mean, why are you bashing Canada? I mean, Canada and the people. You're gonna be getting. You could be getting a. Yeah, you be getting or you're gonna be end up marrying a Canadian woman out of this. I don't know. Marrying a Canadian woman. Hmm. Don't get me wrong. Some of the women in Canada are gorgeous and beautiful. Some of them, not all of them. Um, you know, Kyla Lee, the attorney who's half Métis and half French. Um, she's a she's one of the First Nation people She's a lawyer in Vancouver. Yeah, I looked at her. She's kind of cute. I like her short haircut. It makes her look cute looking. She's adorable. I kind of like her, but I don't know. She has a sense of humor. I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna be happy. If she's my girlfriend or wife. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not gonna judge someone based on their looks. I'm gonna just judge them for who they are on the inside, not what they look like on the outside. And yeah, just racism in Canada. I'm kind of disgusted on the abuse First Nation children went through. With the boarding schools in British Columbia and other parts of Canada. Um, Children were being abused and mistreated, and it was disgusting, and it kind of made me sick to my stomach. You know, and I got a friend who lives in Canada. He's talked about this, and he's kind of disgusted about this. And he said, "Oh, Canada has this going on, and they try to hide it. And hiding it just makes me even more sicker because that's just sick and that's just wrong. How First Nation children are being treated and being murdered. It's just disgusting, and it is. You know, can't I'm not gonna you know Canada have some negative things, but overall, Canada is a very beautiful country, and it is. You know, you know, they have the metric system. I understand the metric system, so if I live in that country, I won't have any problems. With metric. Kilometers. You know, liters, centimeters, something something degrees Celsius. You know, yeah. And also before I end this voice recording, um, I'm looking at Jagmeet Singh, the leader of the NDP, the New Democratic Party, and do I think Jagmeet Singh deserves to be Prime Minister of Canada? Long answer, yes. Short answer, no. But I think that Jagmeet Singh deserved to be Prime Minister of Canada, and I think his NDP, New Democratic Party, should be the governing party in Parliament, and Jagmeet Singh should be Prime Minister. He deserves to be Prime Minister because he's talking about things that and doing things that Justin Trudeau and the Conservatives have no interest in doing. Jagmeet Singh, he has problems. He's not fighting hard enough on the issues for everyday Canadians. And I think he should fight harder. You know, and I think he should be Prime Minister. You know, he deserves it. And Justin Trudeau doesn't deserve to be Prime Minister, and he has no business being Prime Minister. Because he's an inexperienced guy who was once a drama teacher. And he did blackface. When he was younger, so that was kind of racist. And he apologized for it. And then you got the English and French divide. The English speakers hate the French speakers. You know, and you got Quebec, the province of Quebec that tried to break away from Canada and become a nation. Looking at Quebec, um, Quebec has the resources of has the resources in the DNA to become a nation. Something the state of Texas here in the U.S. lacks. So, Canada, oh Canada, oh Canada, why are you the way you are? You know, should I move? Should I move to this country? No. I'll visit Canada, but I'm not gonna live there. You know. But look at it. If my ancestors went with Harriet Tubman, um, went with Harriet Tubman through the Underground Railroad from the southern U.S. all the way to the northern U.S. and Canada. If they end up going to Canada, you know, if that happened, if my mother and my father's ancestors went with Harriet Tubman through the Underground Railroad and ended up in Canada, I'll be living in Canada today. I'll be Canadian. I'll be living in either Ontario or Nova Scotia. Yeah. I'm probably living with where my friend is living at, Mississauga. So, uh. And I'll probably be as passive aggressive and as miserable in that country. You know, there's that saying, moving to Canada won't make much difference. You're gonna be as miserable as I am. Yeah, so Canada, love it or leave it. I'm not gonna live in that country, just seeing how things are there, seeing how the people are there. It's not a country that's worth moving to. You got Ryan Reynolds who made a video on YouTube telling Americans, "Oh, stop talking about you're gonna move to Canada because you're not gonna move there." You know, I'm not a fan of Ryan Reynolds. He starred in some movies. I got nothing against Ryan Reynolds, but he's a Canadian of Scottish descent. I got nothing against him or what he says. I have no interest in moving to that country. Okay, this was the most racist thing I ever saw in Canada, and this happened in British Columbia. Okay, it was this guy from some country, I think India, and he was like taking pictures in some neighborhood somewhere in some city in British Columbia, and some white guy in a pickup truck comes driving by him. He gets out of his truck and says this, "Are you Canadian? How did you get in Canada? You need to go back where you came from." And he walked up to this guy and spit in the guy's camera when the guy was filming him spitting in the camera. Then the guy who spit in the guy's camera phone, he gets okay. The racist guy gets back in his pickup truck. He's racist. The guy that asked him, "How did you get?" Yeah, the guy that asked this guy from India or another country asked him, "How did he get into the country?" After he spit in his phone while filming him, recording him on his smartphone. The guy who did the spitting got back in his pickup truck and hold his arm up in the air and said this, "White power, white power, white power." Yeah. Wow. So I think, yeah, after he did that, I think the authorities caught up to him and arrested him. So racism in Canada, it's kind of like polite racism. Case in point with this racist MP from Quebec in Parliament Hill, I think in the House of Commons or the Senate chamber. Not Jagmeet Singh, the leader of the NDP, called it out. He called it out in French and said this in French. It's true, he's being racist. He said something racist, and he called him out. And in Parliament, they made Jagmeet Singh apologize to the racist MP and booted him out of Parliament. And a racist MP, like that's so messed up. And yeah, Jagmeet Singh shouldn't be booted out of Parliament. He should stay there because he's doing the right thing. He called out racism. He did the right thing. It's the MP who said who was saying the racist stuff. He should apologize. He should be booted out of Parliament. So that's kind of messed up. And yeah, I know that Canadians said this. Oh, when all the black people in America during the slave days of slavery, they escaped to Canada with Harriet Tubman, and a lot of them didn't stay, and they all didn't stay. They all left. They didn't stay in Canada. They left. Well, some stayed, some left. And the black people live in Canada. They're basically people of Caribbean descent, Jamaican descent. Some are descendants of African American slaves that escaped the U.S. during the slavery days. They left for freedom. And I heard this from some French black female singer in France about Harriet Tubman. She said that Harriet Tubman, she was tough, but she had seizures. So Harriet Tubman had health issues. So that caught me by surprise by hearing that. I saw some more videos about Canada. I saw more videos about Canada. 3 of them to be exact. Okay, the first one is this gay pride parade in Toronto. Toronto or Toronto. I'm going to say Toronto. Can't pronounce the name of that city. Okay, at this gay pride parade in Toronto, in Ontario, um, you know, people were having fun and all, and come to find out, they didn't want no one to take pictures of them. So you can't film anybody with the camera option on your smartphone, or you can't take a picture of them with the camera option on your smartphone. Can't do that. So I'm looking at this, I'm saying to myself, okay, you guys don't want no one filming you or taking a picture of you with the camera option on on people on people's smartphones. I mean, what do you guys got to hide? I mean, you should be proud to be gay. And you shouldn't care about being seen or being photographed. Being photographed. Yeah, people filming you and taking a picture of you. You shouldn't care. You should be proud. Shouldn't care at all. So, I find that to be kind of odd. And on video number 2, um, there was this guy who was at some rape culture festival with a bunch of women in Montreal, and the guy was filming the whole thing, and he heard some woman's voice saying this, "Why are you recording us?" And the guy said it's a free country, and some old lady starts like hitting the guy's camera and saying this, "You need to get the fuck away from us." Then I heard some singing going on, and after that, some woman gets on top of a table at some park somewhere in Montreal and start preaching about rape culture. Then in another video, somewhere in some city in Alberta, Sag Hill, Alberta, a black guy is walking around Walmart, and he's doing his shopping. He's going and buying some things that he needs. He goes to the electronics department to get some headphones, and all of a sudden, some ugly old white woman who was the store security goes and follows the guy around, follows him around, and he pulls out his camera phone, the camera option on his smartphone, pulls out his smartphone and starts filming this lady, following them around. And I think I can quote what he was saying. It was a black guy, and he's filming this lady, following them around Walmart, and he's saying this, I can't believe this. I can't expect some shit like that. I live in Canada. I can expect some shit like this. Let me shop. Let me shop. And the woman said, and the security woman says this, "No yelling in the store. No yelling in the store." He says, "Shut up. Let me shop. You guys need to come get her. I feel uncomfortable. I mean, you looking at me like that, like I just want to go shop for some more things because I couldn't find what I want, so I decided to go shop for some more things," or something like that. And he had his camera phone on. He said, I'm putting you on Facebook. You're going live, eh? You're going live, eh?" I mean, you had to look at some black guy with some dreads. I live in Canada. I can expect some shit like this. Then finally, some other employees stopped the woman from following the guy around. And the guy said this after all of this, "Don't follow me around. Don't follow me. Don't do that. Don't ever do that." That was the fact that this Walmart somewhere in Alberta, Sag Hill, Alberta, was was hit hard by thieves. And the store security woman thinks that this black guy was one of the thieves. So that's some racial profiling right there. That's racism right there. So yeah. So all this. So it seems to me that Canada is a crappy country. And it is. I mean, a black guy with dreads shopping at a Walmart. He has some money in his pocket. He has toonies and loonies, nickels and dimes. He has colorful pieces of paper with a queen, a black woman, and dead prime ministers on them. He has money on him to buy wherever he wants at this Walmart in Sag Hill, Alberta. And he does. I mean, he should have pulled all that money out of his pocket and showed this woman, "Hey, I got some money in my pocket. I'm here to buy some things." So yeah, I guess that wouldn't faze that woman who was racially profiling him or ethnic carding him. So, yeah. Okay, in Toronto, also in this city, on another video. Clear my throat. Let me clear my throat. I think I got a frog in my throat and some phlegm. Anyway, on another video, we're going back to Toronto in Ontario. Okay, there was this male seminar at the University of Toronto, and it was interrupted by a bunch of crazy feminist women, and they were making noises like this: MRA, boom, boom, MRA, boom, boom, MRA, boom, boom, MRA, boom, boom, MRA, boom, boom. Then the camera goes off of the male seminar and goes and shows all these crazy women. And among the group of crazy women were Shanty Biggs, the the woman who wore glasses and has the bright red hair. Then a fire alarm was pulled, and they started jumping up and down and cheering. I think also I saw a video from, there was this YouTube channel. There was this channel here on YouTube. It was named Expose Toronto. And and there was this guy from South America. He's from French Guyana. And French Guyana, country in South America. He was filming parts of Toronto, and he saw that like everything was a hospital, a school, everything was catered to women, and nothing was catered to men. And he was the same guy that was harassed by a news reporter and a cameraman at Queen's Park. He was going around just filming everything. He was filming a banner that said consent. And some ugly some ugly news reporter woman or news presenter, and some cameraman, some white guy with curly hair, and another cameraman, like they were all harassing this guy, and they were calling him creepy and weird, and they were bringing up Roosh V. Do you know Roosh V? And if we see this video that you are filming, that you posted on your YouTube channel, we're going to have it removed off of YouTube. The poor guy was being harassed and picked on. And the police came and accused him of harassing those people. And the police just ignored the guy who said it. They were messing with me. And he just walked away. The police just said something and just walked away. So I don't know if Toronto is still messed up today. I don't know. But that tells me I definitely don't want to go to Toronto or any part of Canada, period. MRA, boom, boom, MRA, boom, boom, MRA, boom, boom, MRA, boom, boom, MRA, boom, boom.
Wow, that's spicy. That is so spicy. So spicy.
If that's any of your business, that's none of your business. I came here to relax. I don't want to be bothered. Why do you care? It's none of your business. Don't worry about it. We're advocating for civil war. We got the guns and we're gonna bring them out. Get to the point. Nobody doesn't want to see your stupid little car. Oh my God. Yeah. In some ways, Canada can be a crazy, cartoonish, three-ring circus. Well, look at it this way. Even though some things in Canada sucks, Well, at least they have universal health care, gun control, and a very high life expectancy. Their life expectancy is very high because they have prevention in their health care, and Canadians live longer than Americans. So Americans have shorter lifespans and Canadians have longer lifespans. So to each its own. So that's just fact. I'll take a trip to Canada, but I'm not going to live there. So it is what it is. So that's all I got to say in this video. Au revoir.